Welcome to the Hollywood Scholar. I'm Jed Morgan, and today's video is supposed to be, the outcome of the San Diego Comic-Con Marvel Hall Age panel, but none of that information was really exciting to me. A lot of it was boring, generic. I mean, the only thing of interest was that there's 2 Avengers movies. Not really enough to talk about in a video, but I decided instead to go back to a slightly older article and talk about something positive in a certain light, at least. And that is William Shatner's comments on the latest Star Trek shows. And it's phenomenal. This is exactly what people have been thinking for years now. This is what I think about the current Star Trek shows, is that Gene Roddenberry would be turning in his grave at this stuff. And that is just something incredible to see from an actor like William Shatner, who is so part of this universe, so part of the Star Trek fandom. He's been around since the beginning, and especially with a lot of the other actors who have been around nearly as long as him, betraying the franchise, betraying the fans, and supporting this current day crap that is coming out that would really make Gene Roddenberry turn in his grave. I mean, all the TNG cast has turned against him, come back, supporting these awful shows of current day, and even people like George Takei are coming out in support of it. And it's nice to see that there is one last stalwart supporter of Gene Roddenberry fighting against this and at least calling it out, if nothing else, because this isn't Star Trek. Despite getting more Star Trek right now than we ever had before, it's the least Star Trek and is the worst era for Star Trek fans. And it's really sad to see because none of these shows are popular. You had one show back in the 80s and every single person in America was talking about it. Everyone at least had seen a couple episodes. No one knows anything about this. Like, if you ask someone who Mikey Spock was, the real name, obviously, they would have no idea. Michael Burnham, no one would have any idea who that is. But back in the 80s, you say, hey, do you know who Picard is? Everyone knows. And that's not a matter of today, he's been famous for 40 years. It's back then he was famous, the character Picard, and all these other great characters. It isn't Star Trek anymore. It's not one of the biggest franchises in the world. Back then, it was Star Wars and Star Trek competing with each other. Now, both are in the gutter, and you can't even compare them to Stranger Things without people on Twitter saying, oh, that's an unfair comparison. Something like Stranger Things should not be beating out both Star Trek and Star Wars. It's kind of sad to see, but William Shatner's comments on this have just been phenomenal. And yeah, he knew Gene Roddenberry better than most people, and he is authority on what would concern him, what would distress Gene Roddenberry, and he would be turning in his grave. And I feel bad for Roddenberry, especially with everything the Roddenberry Foundation is doing. His legacy is severely tarnished in both family and creative endeavors. They're both gone. They're both destroyed by the people who were supposed to protect them after he was gone. And it's really just depressing to see, but William Shatner standing against it. And I mean, he had some other comments that were funny about Star Wars and Mark Hamill. I don't really think any of those are worth talking about, but it's just these few words here. These few words are why we love William Shatner after all these years. This 90-year-old man, he's the one who understands the fans more than all these other actors. He's the one who cares about his character in this franchise more than all these other actors. I mean, even Picard, he sold out his soul. It's not Picard anymore, but William Shatner will always be James T. Kirk, and James T. Kirk will always be whole as long as William Shatner has anything to say on it. That new guy playing James T. Kirk is not Kirk. There is only one Kirk. Both new guys, in fact, because of Strange New Worlds. But it's just really great to see. I can't understand how happy this makes me feel that he feels this way about Gene Roddenberry and about these new shows. And yeah, he does go on a little bit more and nothing crazy. And he talks about his flight with Blue Origin, which I think is one of the coolest things to ever happen. Captain Kirk went to space. But I just had to shout out these comments because he is James T. Kirk. He is a legend, and he cares more than anybody else. And these days, that is a rare thing and needs to be highlighted and praised when it happens. But anyway, that's all I have for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Anon. If you like what I do here and want to see good, compelling stories that Hollywood will no longer give you, check out my book series, Odyssey of a Phoenix, a mythological epic about philosophy, morality, and modern-day mental illness issues. Books 1, Down in Flames, and Book 2, Apocalypse Then, currently on sale. Book 3, Kill the Dark, coming soon.